Guest number 2 is calling in right now. I'm joined with singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee, Ciara Rae. She's with me right now. How's it going?
Hey! Of
Good, good. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
course. I'm glad that I could.
So let's go ahead and get right to it. How did you get started as a singer-songwriter? How did it start off for you?
It started like any others would. I started singing in the choir. Um, it was funny because I only tried out for the choir because I actually didn't make any sports teams and I wanted to get a picture in the yearbook. So I ended up getting it, auditioning and making it, and from there it just was kind of a bunch of different things in life that led me to wanting to do songwriting and singing full time.
So, who were some of the singers, songwriters out there that you grew up becoming a fan of? Those that inspired you into music?
Um, for me, when I was young, my dad, I don't know if you ever listened to Motown, but I grew up listening to a lot of Motown and a lot of Garth Brooks, ironically. Um, and my dad, loved all kinds of music, but that was a lot of the basis of what inspired me. And, then as I got older and started studying music more, Ella Fitzgerald became a really big inspiration for me, mainly because I loved the fact that she kind of uses her voice like an instrument, and she really knows and has mastered that well. Unlike, some people who maybe don't even go into training for singing, Ella took it really seriously, and was a very important, mastering her vocals was a very important part of her craft, and I've always, admired that in her.
I definitely did listen to Motown as a kid. My parents play, well, actually, my dad, he played a variety of music. He played, you know, Rolling Stones, played the Beatles,
Mhm. Mhm.
played Meatloaf, and then
Uh-huh.
he also played Motown. He played some Temptations. He played some Jackson
Yeah,
Five. He played some Stevie Wonder.
Tammy Terrell,
Yeah,
Marvin Gaye.
yeah. That was more than just music. That was like a soundtrack to my parents'
Mhm.
childhood. And while there are some of today's music artists that I like, those songs make me feel like, man, I wish I lived through that time because it was beautiful, it was uplifting, and it was very positive. Uh,
Yeah.
those was the good times, and I love music overall. I started as a hip hop R&B guy, but now I listen to all types of music as I got older. I'm now listening to country and Americana music. I'm listening to jazz and soul. I'm listening to pop, to rock. Like I guess I'm too much of an open-minded listener. But if the song's not in my head, if I'm nodding to the song, then chances are I'm gonna like the artist and want to hear more. Kind of like yours.
Yeah.
So uh,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
I kind of tend to have the same problem as well as an artist. I'm a little too open-minded, and my songwriting will always be country. Country will always be an important basis of how I write and what I do, but I definitely take influence from a lot of different areas because I just don't think that you should only take from one.
That's true. That's very true. I want to talk about this record that you put out recently. It's got a very interesting name of the EP, and yeah, I do. There is some profanity somewhat allowed in this, so I'm just gonna go in and say it. The name of this EP, this record, is called "Who the Hell is Ciara Rae?" Uh,
Yeah.
very very interesting title of this record. Talk about this record and what made you decide to use that title for your record.
Um, it's funny because I my mom had actually been to a Brandy Clark concert, who's an incredible songwriter and country songwriter artist. I'm sure she's written for other genres, but she's a country artist, and she actually had a shirt that I guess some of her staff or crew were wearing, and it said, "Who the F is Brandy Clark?" And it was a joke amongst them. It was like an inside joke, and my mom told me about it. And when I was trying to think of what to name the EP, I thought it'd be funny if instead of, making it that blunt, that we would just turn it into hell and make it "Who the Hell is Ciara Rae?" And I thought, I'm obviously an up-and-coming artist. I'm trying to make my way. So it makes sense that, not that many people know me. So it's kind of making fun of myself and at the same time drawing attention to, this is how you're going to begin to learn who I am. So, and it's funny. So it just kind of worked out.
I really like that answer. Too many times artists, whether it's mainstream or unsigned or local, independent, they tend to take themselves way too seriously at times. Put too much pressure
Agreed.
on themselves, and maybe the songs don't come out the way that they hope, or you get more criticism than praise or whatever. So for you to start off this way with this record, it just shows that while you are a talented singer, but you're having fun with it. You're having fun with it, and this record turned out pretty good. So,
Thank you.
so I definitely like this record. Now, you live in Nashville. I've interviewed
Yeah.
a lot of artists at Nashville throughout the last couple of years, and you being an artist there, and you go to shows as a artist and as a just listening to music. How do you feel about the music scene, the local music scene that's out of Nashville right now?
It's funny because I listened to a lot of mainstream radio when I was living in South Florida, where I grew up. But when I came here, I very quickly became immersed in a lot more so the songwriters than the artists that were on the radio. And I think that was because I was getting so involved as a songwriter myself, writing with different people around town. And it's funny because now I feel like being in a city where everyone is so talented at what they do, and that so many of us are here for the same thing. Everybody's got their own niche and their thing that makes them different. And I think that being here inspired me to look more into those locals as opposed to the mainstream and find out, what are these up-and-comers trying to do? What makes them different? What drives them? And it kind of in turn makes you work harder, and it makes you want to figure out who you are more. So, I mean, to me, the local of what's coming up right now is incredible compared to some of the stuff I hear. Not that there isn't amazing things on the radio, but, when you hear these people live in front of you and you know that they're going to grow and you're going to see them take off, it's pretty special to be able to be here and do that. So I guess just being a local, I become really immersed in the scene. I mean, there's amazing talent here for sure that'll continue to come up through the years.
So I live in Kentucky. I live in Lexington. I truly believe that we have a very good variety of music. It's mostly popular by rock, country, and Americana. There's some hip hop acts here and there. I started supporting local music about 3 years ago, and for the longest when I did this show, it's interviewing mostly independent artists, unsigned artists outside of Kentucky. And now, because of me being involved on the scene and getting to know these people and seeing these artists grow, I'm starting to interview local artists now, and I'm getting a lot of support from the local music scene, and it's just good to see that there's some unity to the scene out there, and a lot of good things I've heard from Nashville. So much so that some friends of mine that are musicians have moved to either at Nashville or nearby Nashville just to just to, get themselves out there, because after all, Nashville
Yeah.
is the mecca of country music. So
Yeah.
that's the place to go if you really trying to make a career out of being a artist. And I always use this saying, like, you can go to a grocery store in Nashville, you probably run into a singer and not even know it.
Oh, yeah. I've run into tons of celebrities. And it's funny because when you live here, that celebrity thing almost loses its facade because you begin to look at everybody like normal people, which is a really cool realization as an artist, too.
That's awesome. So what else do you have in store in the coming months as far as upcoming shows or anything else in particular that you want to promote?
I actually haven't released anything in around a year to a year and a half, and a lot of it has been because I've been writing with a lot of really upper-level, incredible writers around here, and really taking the time to try to develop something that I'm proud of and that I can put out, follow up to the Who Hell Ciara Rae EP, like as I've developed more as a songwriter. And right now I'm really just waiting on a couple things to finish pulling through to be able to begin releasing the stuff. I mean, it's there. I've gotten tons of songs written and recorded at this point that, I'm just kind of waiting on. And I'm hoping that it's soon. It's really difficult to be patient sometimes, but when it comes out and it's done correctly, it'll be worth it.
I like that. That you taking your time with it. And, to use an analogy here, I look at music artists as chefs. Chef, you order a real nice, well done steak, and while it will take 20, maybe 25 minutes, as long as it looks good and tastes good at the end of the day, that's all that matters. For artists, obviously it takes more than 20, 30 minutes. It takes months, even years.
I wish it took 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That'd make my life a lot easier.
Yeah. So, yeah, and for music songs, it takes time. And at the end of the day, the artists want to make sure that it turns out good and sounds good, that they like the song as much as other people are going to like the song. So that's what it boils down to. And I'm glad that people like you take your time with the music and don't rush it.
Yeah.
So that's just that's it.
No, sorry, go for it.
No, you're good.
Well, I think for me, as of recently, I've taken a lot of stands on, publicly speaking about having struggled with an eating disorder and depression earlier in my life. And I think that, because I became more outspoken with that following the release of the last two songs that I put out, I just feel like it's really important that whatever I put out is portrayed correctly, because everything I do is not just for, of course, I love singing and I love writing, but at the end of the day, unless I feel like I'm positively influencing someone to give them confidence in a situation to do the right thing, or, to give them comfort, that it's really important that what I put out there now, especially as I've gotten more developed in what I do, I just think that it's important, especially when you have people's eyes on you, that you do something that's going to be good for them.
And before I let you go, Ciara, why don't you go ahead, promote your social media links, and where can people hear your music through digital music places. So go ahead and promote your social media links, and where can people hear your music?
Well, almost everything you want to find is on ciararae.com, my website, ciararae.com. I'm on pretty much everything. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are my main socials that I use. And you can stream me on any streaming service. The only thing I'm working out right now is I don't have all my songs available on Amazon streaming service. That was just a kink in the releases I'm fixing right now, but everything else you should be able to stream me on. And yeah, just I hope that people like the stuff that I have put out and, you know, be patient enough to see the new stuff that's coming out, because it's been a year and a half in the making, and, you know, I obviously don't have the biggest following in the world yet, but it's important to me that I grow it genuinely and organically with my music. So, you know, I waited a long time for a reason. It's going to be good.
It was great chatting with you, Ciara. I want to thank you for being on the show and telling your stories and showing that passion. And I definitely appreciate you being on. And now I know who the hell Ciara Rae is, and I look forward to
Thanks.
and I look forward to many more in the future. Thank you so much for your time. Continued success, and enjoy the rest of your evening and your weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much. You too, and happy 4th of July.
Same to you. All right, bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
All right. That
Bye.
was Ciara Rae joining me on the show. I want to thank PJ Gifted and Ciara Rae for being on the show. And despite 4th of July coming up on Wednesday, I will be on the air this coming Thursday for Triple Threat Wrestling Radio